welcome back to Real English. Today we are going to be continuing with our look at the ECPE, and this time I'm going to be having a look at part 1 of the listening. Okay, going through exactly what you have to do in this part and also giving you lots of tips to help boost your marks in this section. So, without further ado, let's have a little look. The facts again. In part 1, there are 15 questions or 15 conversations. For each of these conversations, you are going to have 3 options, ABC, and you are going to have to pick which one of these options is correct based on what you've just heard in the conversation. So, the tips. Let's go straight to it. The first tip I can give you is this. Underline the key words in the answers. So you're going to be given A, B and C, and the first thing you should quickly do is have a little look and underline the key words. For example, here as you can see, he is late for the meeting, he has missed the meeting, she never told him about the meeting. You can quickly go through and go, he late meeting, he missed meeting, and then when you're listening, you can kind of say, well, okay, I think it's that. This basically just highlights to you very, very quickly what information that you are looking for, and it will help you find answers. And combined with my second tip, it will help you. So let's go on to that now. So again, the second tip here is to eliminate answers. And if you combine this with the first tip I gave you, it works very well. So again, he is late for the meeting. You could say, okay, it might be that. He has missed the meeting, possibly. She never told him about the meeting. You can say, well, no, she was, the woman who was speaking never said anything about that. So I know it's definitely not C. It's between A and B now. And then at least you're 50-50. And hopefully you'll say, actually, yeah, I remember him saying that he never went to the meeting, or so it probably is B. So by combining these first 2 tips, you are really improving your chances of finding the answer. The third tip I can give you, listen out for expressions and phrasal verbs. And I think this is probably one of the main reasons why people find this part difficult, because a lot of the time this is what they're testing in this part of the exam, and phrasal verbs, as we all know, will drive you absolutely nuts. They are very, very difficult to understand because they don't really make a lot of sense a lot of the time. You either know it or you don't. And that's what happens to people in this part of the test. If the answer is a phrasal verb, like I'll show you in a minute, they're like, huh? And if you don't know it, you don't know it. You're not going to get the answer. You're going to have to take an estimated guess at it. And same thing with expressions. So, for example, if a person might turn around and say, they have backed out of the business deal. You may know that the answer is backed out, but you don't really understand what that means. Backed out in this case means they don't want to go through or continue with the business deal anymore. Therefore, that will be one of the answers. If it's an expression, I was out of my depth, to be honest. This is a fairly easy expression, and hopefully you know it, which means something is, over your head. It's too difficult for you. So when you're preparing for the listening, you do have to make sure that you're learning a wide variety of phrasal verbs and expressions, and most of the ECPE books out there address this, and they will give you lots of these. So as I said, spend time learning your expressions and your phrasals, and this will really help you understand a lot of these things that they're using. Finally, read over the listening transcripts. Again, most ECPE test books at the back of the book will have word for word written exactly what what you're listening to. And this is very, very useful because when you do a test, you can go back and especially have a look at the ones that you got wrong and have a look and see exactly why you got it wrong, and maybe understand or underline the expression or the phrasal verb that you didn't know. And I think this is what a lot of students don't spend enough time doing. Learning from your mistakes and using these listening transcripts they are so useful. It cannot be emphasized enough. So go into the back of your book and use them, especially things that you think you missed, or, as I said, unknown vocabulary, expressions and phrasal verbs. It will also, doing this will help improve other areas of your English, like your vocabulary and your reading. Alright, so the final tip is probably the most obvious one. I think the key to the listening test in general, and especially part 1 of it, is just lots and lots of practice. And that's why we have so many ECPE test books out there. You need to practice. Practice makes perfect. The more you listen, the more you'll get the tricks that they do, and just the better your listening skills will be, therefore the higher your marks. It's not really rocket science. You do have to spend time practicing. So, again, if there are any questions for this part of the test, fire away. That's why we're here. Thank you very much for watching. Keep an eye out for part 2. Or I should say, keep your ears out for part 2. Bye for now.